Hello everyone, Alicia here with another lightened up, Weight Watcher friendly recipe, and today's recipe is a viewer request recipe for a lightened up copycat of Olive Garden Chicken Scampi. I looked around at a lot of different recipes for this, found one that sounded good and one that I could lighten up fairly easily. I will make sure to have that down in the description box below if you want to see the original that I'm going to be making changes to. But this looked really good, so thank you to Barb for requesting this one. I personally never had the Olive Garden Chicken Scampi, but again, it looks very good, so I'm excited to make this one. So let me jump in and go over ingredients first. First off, you're going to need a pound of boneless, skinless chicken tenders. And then here I've got some Barilla whole grain thin spaghetti. The recipe calls for angel hair pasta. This is as close as I can get to that, or the closest I could find in a whole grain. So I'm using that, but you're gonna need 8 ounces or a half of this box. Next up here, I've got a red bell pepper, yellow bell pepper, and green bell pepper that I've just sliced up. And then here is a medium red onion that I've sliced up. You're gonna need a cup of chicken broth, a quarter cup of fat-free half and half, a half cup wine. I'm just using a Pinot Grigio, but it calls for white wine. 4 teaspoons minced garlic, a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, and then I'm gonna also use a little bit more for my veggies. You're gonna need a tablespoon of a light butter spread. I'm just using this Brummelin Brown, a half cup grated or shredded Parmesan, a cup of all-purpose flour, and then finally some salt and pepper to taste. Salt for the chicken, salt and pepper I should say for the chicken, and then I'm gonna just use a little bit of salt along with the Italian seasoning for my veggies. And that's everything you're gonna need, so let me get it started. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a bowl here, I'm gonna add in my flour, tablespoon of Italian seasoning, about a quarter teaspoon or to taste, salt, and then same with the black pepper, about a quarter teaspoon. Then I'm gonna just whisk all of that together. Now that I've got this all mixed together, I'm gonna take my chicken tenders and just kind of toss them in that. Okay, I've got those all covered with the flour mixture, and as you can see, I've got a lot of flour left over here. Most of it, honestly. So if you want, you could definitely use probably about half that amount of flour and seasoning and have enough. But I am gonna have it factored in as I'm showing it here, but I did want to point that out. You could probably save yourself a few points with the flour by not using as much. So over at my stove here, I've got a large pan and I'm heating that up on medium-high heat, and to that I'm gonna add a tablespoon of olive oil, which I completely forgot to show in the ingredients list. But as always, I will have it down in the description box with the rest of the ingredients, as well as it is in my www recipe builder link. So I'm gonna heat that oil up in there. And then I'm gonna add in my chicken, and I'm gonna start with the larger pieces to get those cooked first. But I'm gonna just cook this for a few minutes on each side. That one just fell right in there. Until it reaches an internal temp of 165. So I'm gonna start again with the larger pieces. These are all a little different sized. So I'll cook those larger ones first, since they should cook about the same rate, and then I will cook my smaller ones. But once I've got those done, I will be back. This is my second batch of chicken here, and it is temp checking definitely well over. So these are done, and now I'm gonna remove my chicken onto a plate here. Then I'm gonna just set this aside. And then in the same pan, I'm gonna add in my veggies. And I'm gonna cook those in there for a few minutes until they're tender. I'm also going to add a little bit of the Italian seasoning to them, probably about a 1/4 teaspoon. And then just a little bit more salt as well. This is all just kind of to taste. But again, I'm going to just cook them in here until they're nice and softened. And then over here, in a large pot, I've got some water boiling. I weighed out my spaghetti. And again, that's 8 ounces. I'm going to add that into my water. And I'm going to just cook this according to the package until it's al dente. And then once that's done, I'll go ahead and drain it and set it aside. I cooked these veggies in here for just about 5 minutes. So I'm going to remove these and set them on a plate. And then in that same pan again, I'm going to add in my tablespoon butter spread. Let that get melted in there. Then I'm going to add about 4 teaspoons minced garlic. Cook that in there for about 30 seconds or so. I'm adding my chicken broth, my wine, and my half and half. And I'm going to whisk all that together and bring it to a boil. Now that that's come to a boil, I'm going to add in my Parmesan cheese. And I decided at the last minute to switch it up to just a grated like this. I think that's going to melt in here a whole lot better than the shredded that I had. So I'm going to add that in. I'm going to whisk that in. That shredded I had has a coating on it to keep the cheese from sticking together in the bag, and sometimes that doesn't work too well when you're trying to melt it. So if you have freshly grated, that would be really good, I think. Yeah, I wish I had fresh. I think that would be really good in this, but I do not. So I'm gonna just continue to mix this until that cheese completely integrates and melts into the sauce. I will let this cook for about 5 minutes on a medium-low heat, just to make sure all that got nice and melted in there. So that's looking good. So now I'm gonna add back in my veggies and my cooked pasta. Turn off my heat and kind of just get this all mixed together. Got that all mixed together. Now the recipe I'm using is showing just adding all the chicken to the top. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to add my chicken to my individual servings. I'm going to divide this into 6 servings and then again add my chicken to the individual ones. So I will get some of this plated up, show you what it looks like, and give you points. Okay, I've got a serving of this plated up. I measured this and weighed it. It was just over 3 pounds total, and then I got just over 8 cups total. So I factored this in at 6 servings, which would make the serving about 1 1/3 cups, and then with a 1/6 of the chicken, which is what I've got here for the chicken. I just took one of those tenders, sliced it up, put it on top. So the total points for this are going to be 8. I will have my hubby give it a try, see what he thinks of it. Went ahead and just put the rest of these in containers, so they're all ready to go for meals this week. And this should last a good several days, I would say, in the fridge. Not that they're going to last us that long, but I would say these will last probably up to a week. All right, I got him.
Need a napkin.
Need a napkin. Zoom in on that a little bit more. It has cooled down a little bit while I was waiting for him to get over here, but it should still be good.
Okay.
8 points.
It smells wonderful.
It does smell really good.
don't know what to say about that other than it tastes like really good chicken.
Just the chicken, yeah.
Yeah. So the presentation obviously is really nice.
Zoom off you a little bit. I was right up on you.
Like I said, the chicken's really good. The nothing's really jumping out at me.
Flavor-wise?
A lot of times I can, this has really come to the front.
Can you taste the wine in there? A lot of people don't like when there's wine in a recipe, but I mean, it cooks off. And and sometimes you can't even necessarily taste it.
So I can taste the wine a little bit. It's very pleasant. The onions coming through, the Parmesan is really adding a nice flavor to it, and the peppers really go with.
Before you take that bite, have you had chicken scampi at Olive Garden before? That's what this is supposed to be a lightened copycat of. I have not. Okay.
And if I have, it was about 35 years
yeah,
ago.
so you can't compare then. Yummy. Winner. It's another chicken dinner. All right, well, I'm going to taste it later because I'm still fasting. It's only noon. I got another couple hours ago. But yeah, it smells amazing.
Tastes
amazing. Say that. So I'll write what I think about it across the screen when I eat it.
I mean, I can't really say anything more. It's just it's really an excellent dish.
What do you think about 8 points for that?
Oh, totally worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I want to have this again.
You want me to make it again, you're saying? All right. Well, thank you to Barb for requesting this. That was Copycat Olive Garden Chicken Scampi. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you, as always, for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.